My name is Jordan Cunningham and I'm an athlete at athletics now. Well, it was a bit of a meandering route. I came from a basketball background and a swimming background. I used to play water polo for a local club, and from there I ended up in Lisburn. Athletics and I ran a day, a sports hall event, and I ended up doing the sprint and the standing long jump. I did quite well in them, and from then I kind of got an offer for the Northern Ireland Rising Stars, and since 2014, I've been doing athletics. I played a bit of Gaelic for a short amount of time, but basketball and water polo were my main sports that I did when I was younger, just before athletics. I suppose basketball, you have to run in basketball, and I was able to take that from basketball and put it into athletics, and then throwing from water polo, using my right arm to throw, I've been able to take that and put it into javelin, shot put, discus. So all of the sports that I've done over the years have kind of helped me with all the events that I do now. So it's a good thing that I've had them. If I wasn't doing athletics right now, I'd probably be playing basketball. So I think it was kind of accidental that I ended up here, but I'm glad that I did. Through the whole way through primary school, I've always been quite fast during my sports days and stuff. I've always won the sprints, so I've always had that kind of ability to be able to run fast and dominate over certain events. So from then, starting in athletics in the Rising Stars, I started to get quite good at some of the events, and from then I started to realise that I did like the events that I was doing and really loved the sport. Well, at the start, that was one of my choices to narrow down into one event, but I kind of liked all of the events at the time, so I decided to stay and kind of train for all the events. And as training for all the events, I started to get quite better at the events. So from then, the decathlon's been my route, because I've been able to hold a high standard at the events all the way through the years I've been training them. Well, the driving force was me was always winning the events that I entered or I did. But when I started to win all of the events that I did, in different disciplines, that I decided if I could put all these events together and do decathlon, then maybe I'd be able to win an overall gold, an overall silver, bronze, doing these events at a higher level. I think that's really, really important, because I feel if I didn't have that, I would probably be doing decathlon or maybe athletics or maybe any kind of sport, because that driving force to success it's what makes you work harder and put in the training and put in the hours of the gym to make you better and get you to a higher level. Yeah, I think being good at my sport, I've always wanted to get better and get to the top, to an international games. So that's kind of always been my driving force, is to get to the top. Well, growing up, my uncles and my mum and my dad and stuff, they weren't really big sports people. So it was kind of always me that had a natural ability for sport. And from then, they always put me into different kinds of sports. I did hurling when I was younger, I did Gaelic, I did basketball, I did a bit of gymnastics, and I kind of had a chance to try everything. And then as I went through the years, I kind of narrowed it down more until I started to get good at multiple sports. And then by about P7, when I found out that I had a natural ability for athletics, I left everything aside to focus on athletics to try and get better and get to a higher level of where I was back then. It was always just me and my own and my family, but they were always a big motivation to me, always driving me to do my best, and they were always behind me, motivating me to get to a high level at any sport that I did. The encouragement's everything to me, from my coaches, from anybody in the sport, coaches, different athletes, family members. It kind of just gives you a bit of self-belief, gives you a bit of driving force and motivation. My role models would definitely be my coach Tom, my coach Adam, my coach Laura. They've been a big part of my athletics success over the years. And on an international level, I think I'd say Bolt would probably be one of my biggest motivations as well, because he's always got a smile on the start line, always smiling in front of the camera. It's just overall brilliant athlete. Personality's a big thing in athletics. Like, you can't go into every single race with the mindset that you're going to win. You have to be able to learn how to win some, lose some, but always keep a smile on your face through anything that you do, through injury, through training, good days and bad days. It's just about keeping your head high and keeping a smile and staying motivated. It's one of the most important things. Leon Reid would be a good example of one of the athletes. Came bronze in the 200 metres in the Commonwealth Games back in 2018. Always smiling in front of the cameras, always motivated, always greets the athletes, on the track always keeps a smile on his face. I think it's the attitude for me that makes an athlete. That's one of the most important parts of an athlete, it's their attitude. Their athletic ability and their talents and all those things, but their attitude's a real big factor once you step onto the track or anywhere you go in life. It's what you need.